Hello viewers, it has come to my attention that Forza Motorsport might be cooking. Now the last time I made a video on this game was back in October 2023, but things have changed quite a lot since then. So Forza just hit its 20th anniversary. So I've decided to jump back in and see what the fuss is all about. And we're going to jump back in to Fuji. The legendary circuit has returned to the franchise, and as expected, we're going to have plenty of carnage. Straight into turn 2. It's only taken until here, roughly 10 seconds into the race, for me to be facing the wrong way. To be fair though, I smashed the apex a little bit too hard and got clattered into by the Porsche. When the pack is facing you, coming around a very fast corner, that's not what you want to be seeing. So we're going to try and progress here from 23rd and nearly last. Now it didn't take long, as you'd probably expect on a track like this, to catch back up. I was really pleasantly surprised to see Fuji return to the Forza franchise. It's one of the key reasons why I've fired up the Xbox once again, to give it a jolly good go as we go through a smoke screen. Always love a good smoke screen in the middle of the racetrack, as we have more awkward collisions in the group in front. And the expected carnage and chaos that we would have very much expected to see around this circuit has very much shown itself. So are we able to get past this pack here? Really is kicking off. We've gone for the Nissan R390, inspired by a I Suck at Driving video that he made a few days ago, and it seems to be working okay-ish. As I mean, what on earth was that? I mean, let's take a replay there as the Honda S2000 pulls off an incredible side flip over the top. And I can only wish that he had actually completed the overtake by doing a side flip over the top of me there, because that would have been absolutely stunning. Didn't quite happen for him though. I'm going to gain a couple more positions here up against the Lotus. Boom, that is 13th position, and we are moving forward. More cars involved in collisions here as we continue up the hill. And the thing I like about Fuji is that it is such a long track with so many corners that, you know, I think it's really intended for drifting, but even in a race setting, I think it's very fun because it's not very easy to remember all the corners. It's almost impossible to do that. And so the challenge is really quite different than any other track in racing, really. Heading up the hill, up against the something. Don't even know what that is. Is it the Alpha 33? Could be. My knowledge is fading these days. I don't play this game enough. As I say, it's been many months. October 23 was the last time I uploaded a video on it. As we have a car facing the wrong way there, which is a very common feature of the game. Now look at this. Boom. Straight into a pile-up on the exit of the corner. You love to see it. And that miraculously puts me now up into 6th place with a big gap to the cars in front, albeit with a penalty. I couldn't quite make it happen, and so the inevitable happened, guys. I finished in 6th place upon my return. Fuji, of course, just a classic of Forza Motorsport, a real legendary circuit. Great to see it back. Likewise, Sunset Peninsula, which was added back in October, and I gave it a go here. This is the 20th anniversary online multiplayer lobby, hopper, whatever you want to call it. Starting 11th on the grid. Everyone's in the Honda NSX, and this is going to be a rather unbelievable opening lap, if I may say so myself. Now heading in towards turn 2, we're going to have a bit of contact here with the Tamer Sun 0345738. What a name that is. Just rolls off the tongue as we move up into 6th place. Now in terms of the tracks that have been added, you could argue either way whether or not they are cooking with them, because 10 tracks have been added to the game since the launch. However, all of them have featured in Forza Motorsport in the past, as in the entire franchise. So Fuji is obviously the new one. Sunset Peninsula, this one arrived back in October. And then you've got 8 other real-world tracks like Hockenheim, Daytona, Nordschleife, Brands Hatch, Sebring, Road Atlanta, Mount Panorama, all of which have been in Forza in the past. So you could debate as to whether or not they're really real track, they're new tracks, because they're not really. They should have just been in the game from the beginning, you could argue. And I think that'd be a very fair argument. But back to here, you know, Sunset Peninsula, good to see it. And I think it's always nice to see some classic original circuits come back. This is pure Forza 3/4 nostalgia for me, as I used to do a lot of races around here back in the day in A-Class, my Lamborghini Gallardo back in Forza 3. Those were the days. Now in the Honda NSX, it's going to be a good opening lap here, but it's about to get even better because you see the top two there fighting. That battle continues around turn 1, and very, very silly, foolish behaviour between the two of them. That's me into the lead, barely 9 seconds into lap 2. And, you know, you see there my expression. I went absolutely wild upon that news. But yeah, pretty good start as we move immediately pretty much into the race lead. Now, Spammy Rob behind, keeping me honest, 3 seconds off, but we're setting some good pace here. 39.666. The number 6 is really worryingly prevalent whenever I return to Forza. But I was putting in some good pace here. Spammy Rob had no chance. He could do very little about the pace that I was showing here and exerting upon the other members of this race. And it's just one of those things. Forza, it just kind of feels natural. The physics are a bit clunky, but ultimately this race here was a fine performance coming through for a nice win. And when it comes to the cars they've added, this is where this game, I think, definitely is cooking compared to Gran Turismo. We actually have some up-to-date race cars. Imagine that. A couple of LMDH cars. We've got the BMW, the Porsche 963. We've got the Lamborghini LMDH. Then we've also got the Ford Mustang GT3. We've got the BMW M4 GT3. We've got the 2023 Porsche GT3R. So the car content, I think, is looking pretty good. I mean, that's not even all the cars. There's quite a lot more than that. But in this race, I wanted to focus on the GT3 cars, and specifically here, the Ford Mustang. And don't ask me why I'm half inside two cars there. But let's get away from that as we pull away from the line. And 24 laps of Hakone, or Hakone, however you want to say it, lay ahead of us, with plenty of the newer GT3 cars being utilised in this race. Let's see how it plays out. I've gone for the medium tyre here. Now, I have no idea. I don't play this game enough to really understand the tyre strategy very well. I've fueled the car up for 24 laps. That shouldn't be an issue. But the tyres, I have no idea how quickly they're going to go off. So that's to be worked out. But here we are, sat in 8th place in the Ford Mustang. Quite nice to see it. And I suppose, you know, this game has motorsport in the title because it's called Forza Motorsport. And therefore it does make sense for cars like the GT3 cars, the LMDH cars, to be added. Always happy to see them. There would be a great day when the same thing happens in Gran Turismo, but that remains to be seen. Maybe Gran Turismo 8 in a couple of years' time. But for now, that is not going to be a thing, I don't think. Around the final corner, not really hooked up with the rear end of this car as the BMW M4 goes through. Trying to get past here an Aston Martin and a Ford. As we get the nice little switcheroo there on Thick and Moist. What a name. As we make awkward contact. I must say that's one of the frustrating things about this game, is the contact physics. Especially on Fuji Kaido, where everyone's glued together, you do tend to kind of get stuck on people, and it does make it very awkward. You have to leave a lot of space. Unlike there, as I'm not following my own advice. So this is lap number 3 now, and the race is very much settled down, at least to some extent, by Forza standards. Going through the final corner, we've got a car spinning out into the wall. We've got a recovering Ferrari there as we go 4 abreast down the main straight. Look at that, across the line. We're going to gain 2 but lose 1, which is a net gain of 1 if you are a fan of maths. As we head through turn 1, I've found myself magnetically drawn to 6th place once again as the Ferrari comes back at us. Giant Dong, what a name. Incredible stuff. And we're doing war with Giant Dong around the outside of the chicane, with Thick and Moist just up in front. I mean, this is just pure poetry here. Down the back straight. Great drag race between myself and the Aston Martin. We seem to be very much stuck together at this point. We're going to go late on the brakes. Around the outside. Can we keep the momentum? Yes, we can. It's a good little battle there. Moving up into 6th place once again. This position will be mine. Now up behind Thick and Moist once again. The GOAT, quite frankly. Great to see him racing once again. He's going to take a horrific line. One of the top 10 worst lines I've ever seen into Hakone Turn 1. I'd say that goes into number 5. There's probably been worse ones. And 4 of them are me. As you see here, by this point, lap number 8, the tyres beginning to go off. I was hoping just to get to the end of lap 12, just do a medium to medium tyre strategy, but my rear tyres were saying otherwise. As we're having a lot of drifting to do here by this Ford GT3. 1 lap later, end of lap 9, decided that was enough. These medium tyres are not going to last me. I'm losing way too much time sliding about like Ken Block. So we are going to change over to the hards and hope that they can go to the end. I have no idea. I don't play the game enough to really know. But we're going to find out now as we leave the pit lane in 14th. Obviously quite early for the pit stop. But hopefully that will balance out as the race goes on. It's quite a long race here, 24 laps around here. A half an hour in total. As we catch up once again, you might have just seen Thick and Moist there coming out of the pit lane. As we are about to resume battle once more. And we had this Porsche to try and get by. Great to see the Porsche GT3R in the game. There it is. As we're going to sail on by. As Hakone, I mean, the straight line speed is very important around here. And it seems that the BMW seems to have the best straight line speed. As we get no penalty there, thankfully. I mean, the penalty system doing its job today. Thank you very much for that. But it doesn't do its job here, really, because I'm not sure what this Thick and Moist wanted. Brakes a little bit early. I go into the back of him, just kind of push him wide. I'm just going to go through, see what the penalty system says. Well, no penalty. So yeah, you can apparently just push people out of the way, depending on how you do it. So many years of Forza have taught me how to compete in the dark arts of ramming. Anyway, up into 3rd place by this point. The strategy was working. This is lap number 19. But I don't know if this guy was on better tyres or what, but he was just driving better in the BMW. Came flying on by. I didn't really have an answer to him. Now, I could have just rammed him off, but I mean, that is typically frowned upon in motorsport, so we're not going to go for that option. And this is the situation towards the end of lap number 23. The tyres, they're not looking great. They are dying of death. They're about to have their funeral, because look at this. I mean, I'm struggling. I'm turning right on a straight. That's not ideal. I even lose another position, so he could have been a 3rd. We're going to drop down to 5th. And I mean, you can see this. This is like, I'm going ice skating now, guys. This is not good at all. But I'll take a P5, given I don't understand or know the strategy at all. So we're going to cross the line. We'll take it. Now, we're going to move back to Fuji Mikado, because this was an interesting one. I mean, what happens when you put 24 people in a race with 1 lap around Fuji Mikado? I mean, here's the answer. Loss of contact, some of it instigated by me, as we go past a couple of cars there. Now up the hill, I mean, when you start at the back, it's just really about finding the space. And the space opened itself up on the outside, and often it does on the outside. Look at this. I was 23rd moments ago, now I'm sort of fighting for the top 10. Now this section of the track is always a bit awkward. It just pinches up. You don't really want to go in there side by side. And after all of that, some people are in the wall, some people dying. But I found myself now in 11th place. Quite miraculous stuff. As just trying to find the space. We get it against the... I was about to say against the Honda NSX, but everyone's in a Honda NSX, so that is not a suitable description, really. as we go around the outside. Now we're about to kill Angel's Creed 2204 in a really unfortunate incident, and the price I have to pay for that is 0.5 seconds. So it's great to know that the penalty for murdering people straight up is actually really rather lenient. You know, 0.5 seconds per person, I would happily take that. Anyway, look at this almighty gaggle here coming through the hairpins, the quadruple hairpin section. My penalty is about to get a lot worse. Because that, I mean, that was kind of everyone's fault. And the system has deemed it mine. 2-second penalty. Unfortunate. Well, we're going to continue. We have 2.5 seconds of penalties to our name. Take a look at this moment though, as these guys kind of forget that there's a chicane in the way and really do hit the apex quite well. Maybe a bit too well, you could argue. Now, Lucas FIFA 1814, he was having none of it. He was turning across me here. Very shoddy defense, but it did not work. Try again, Lucas, next time, mate, because that was quite shameful. So we're going to move up into 4th. Things are going rather well in this one, but with a rather large gap to the cars in front, and on the descent, which is probably my weaker section of the circuit, my car just wasn't quite hooked up in the way that the guy in front there, well, he was sliding gracefully around the corners, and inevitably by the end here, coming round in 5th, but with a penalty, to therefore finish in, yes, you guessed it, 6th place once again. But another example here when things do go right, starting from the front, 4th to 1st after 4 seconds. Absolutely incredible. It was like Senna at Donington. And as we pause it here, 10 seconds into the race, this is the last time these guys will ever see me, because now with a clear circuit in front, you can get your head down. And even though I've not done really many laps, maybe about less than 10 since returning to the game, I do get a good feel for it, and I do kind of remember it to some extent. Obviously not every corner, but you begin to learn where you can carry speed and not overslow the car. And when you're in the front, it is a massive advantage whilst everyone's fighting. And so by the end of this one, winning it by over 15 seconds and 45 seconds to 4th. Miraculous, incredible recovery there. Incredible performance. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this one. Thank you so much for watching. And do get yourself subscribed. I am nearly on 1 million subscribers. But yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.